My name is Josiah Massingill, and I'm the Animation Supervisor on Spice Frontier.
I'm in.
So back in 2020, Steamroller self-financed a short film called Spice Frontier.
The sensors show no motion or any heat signatures.
It was really successful and brought a lot of attention to the visual style we're developing at Steamroller.
It's sea salt.
Kent, get out now.
So Spice Frontier takes place a long time after Earth has been destroyed.
Open door?
It's a really fun sci-fi adventure about a chef named Kent. He's searching the universe for the lost ingredients of his human ancestors so he can share the joy of Earth's forgotten recipes with the universe.
Graham crackers.
After the success of the short film, we decided Spice Frontier would be an amazing project to develop as an animated TV series. So I think the benefits of doing Spice Frontier as an animated series instead of a film or a short film format is we just get to spend a lot more time with the characters. And we love these characters and we love their stories. And it'd be really difficult to tell that in a film format where you're kind of structured and you're limited in how much you can really get into the details of it. As far as shot production goes, we're currently done, or about to be done, with one sequence and hopefully finishing another sequence soon. We have a team of about 45 people across all areas of the pipeline working on the project right now, and we'll continue to grow the team throughout 2023.
He's looking down, but he's still there.
Okay. Our goal is to finish the pilot episode of the series by the end of the year.
I think this just feels a little too liquidy, you know? I think if it starts a little further up.
So Spice Frontier has a pretty distinct artistic look that we've been developing at Steamroller for some time now. From an animation perspective, that unique look presents some really interesting performance challenges for the animation team. One has to do with the flat shading of the characters. We don't get a lot of dimension, and sometimes even elements can kind of blend into each other if we don't pose them in certain ways. So there's a lot more intentional focus on silhouette and making sure that everything is reading clearly within the confines or, you know, the limitations of that style choice. And then the other side of it is the twos side of it. There's some risk of things feeling like they're strobing for the audience or like they're dropping frames. And we just have to be really intentional with our spacing when we make that transition into that style and put a lot of care into making sure that that doesn't distract from, you know, the performance and the story.
Aren't I a part of the crew? I should know this big plan, don't you think?
Because the style of Spice Frontier is so challenging for the animators, when it comes to how we do casting.
Me being a Calionian and all that mess between us and them. Not that I agree with any of it. You know, it's just politics.
And we have a ramp-up process where everybody does the same two tasks, and that allows them to get, one, familiar with the style as they're getting familiar with the project, but also evaluate where they stand in terms of that style and how they do with each characters and which one they potentially like more or are stronger at. When we did the Spice Frontier short, we only had a few characters we needed to design the performances for. Now with the pilot episode, we have over half a dozen different characters we need to understand. Ultimately, we start with what the art team provides us, and they're a huge source of inspiration. We're doing expression sheets and post-tests that really help push the boundaries as we enter, you know, rigging and animation and influence like how far do we need to push these rigs, and using those as our baseline for like shape language and the specifics of each character that we're going to carry through to animation. We'll also collect a bunch of found footage of specific actors that we think have characteristics or quirks that inspire us when it comes to the character. The animation team will specifically refer to our animation Bible, which we're fleshing out as we go, but it's finalizing those specifics in terms of if you go too wide with the mouth, he turns into the Joker, or you go too narrow and he starts to feel like he's talking like this. And just like, there's a lot of details and specifics that really make each character who they are, and we're trying to outline that. And for some characters that's more established, but for others, animators are sort of helping establish those things.
And again.
Oh, agreed. My stomach.
Spice Frontier is a huge project for us at Steamroller because we're actually building a brand new pipeline around its development from the ground up. We have a bunch of original stories we're developing at Steamroller, so the pipeline we're building is going to form the backbone of our production processes for years to come. So, no pressure. One of the main components of this new pipeline for us is the implementation of the Unreal Engine. A lot of people are using Unreal, and it has many benefits to offer across the pipeline. But something that we're trying to do that's new ground for us is actual animation in Unreal. And that comes with many challenges where we need tools and we don't have them yet, but we also get to have a significant voice and like what this is going to look like, not just for Spice, but for Steamroller down the line.
I'm Digger Jensen. I'm the Layout Supervisor here at Steamroller Studios, and I'm currently working on our IP Spice Frontier. So the layout workflow that we are doing is kind of unique. I've been in the industry for a while and everything's always been shot-based. We're always assigned one shot. It's never sequential. We're always in Maya. We're always using that one tool. We've always rendered out gray frames, and that's always been a real struggle for us because it's really hard to see what the shot is actually doing when you just see a bunch of gray smearing across the screen. So when I came here and we were presented with the opportunity to use Unreal Engine, we were like, okay, well, everybody's used to Maya, so how are we gonna get our artists used to being able to do shot work in both? And so we were toying with the idea of using both and going between them and using kind of a hybrid. After a few tests, we decided that it doesn't make sense to use both programs. If we're gonna use Unreal Engine, let's use Unreal Engine. We're just gonna jump right in head first and we'll figure everything out. The really cool part about doing that is now we're working in sequences. So instead of just one shot per artist and they have a stack of shots that have no relation to each other, they're actually able to work on a sequential set of shots. And we're presenting a lot more work, a lot faster to the director.
Yeah, I think the tracking is not working as well.
That was my feeling. I just wanted you to see both ideas. The cool thing about Unreal is you can do it right there with the director. You can have the engine open and you can, what lens do you want to play with? You change the focal length. You do whatever he wants and whatever he asks for right on the spot. And you can make those changes live. You're getting that feedback that the director needs so much faster than you would by having a review, having production make that note, send it back to the artist, go back to the supervisor. It's all just live.
It feels like it's coming a little... Oh, is it? Did you make it on purpose to come towards us?
Yeah, we were trying to make it so you could see it, but we can adjust it and make sure it's just going straight instead of towards us at an angle.
So I think another reason, and it's a really key one that I don't think is immediately obvious, is the lighting and how it interfaces or interacts with poses that animators are building. Like shadows can really influence the read on a face, or even just highlight certain regions that you may have not given as much love as you would have otherwise. It's almost critical for the integrity of the performance and the honesty that we want to come through on these characters to really see that context and adjust as needed.
Where is this oasis? Hey, there we go.
Now we're just beginning in the animation department to start doing animation in Unreal, which is new territory. But what we do see massive benefits from on the horizon is the non-linear workflow in Unreal. In a Maya workflow where we're working linearly, we tend to do things and make choices, but it's in a bubble and we can't see the broader context until we get to the end. And then we have to pivot. And it takes a long time to get to that end and then realize we need to go back to the beginning of that pipeline. And in a non-linear flow in Unreal, all the departments get to collaborate and improve things collectively at the same time and react to different creative choices and improve things. And you make choices that probably are a bit more bold sometimes because there's less of a risk, less of a consequence of wasted time. So when we look at the transition of animators coming from a Maya-centric animation, because that's pretty much where most animators work, and transitioning them to Unreal, there's challenges. I think you're learning a new program and you have certain expectations that you take for granted from, a program that's been around for a while, Maya. Now when we come to Unreal, it is missing a lot of those tools that we would want as animators out of the box, but we're building a lot of those, and they're gaps that we can fill and are filling, which is great. The reason I think the industry should be excited about Spice Frontier being done in Unreal specifically is the look of it. It's so unique and showing the industry at large that, Unreal isn't just for realism, which they're really good at, but you can also make art-driven style choices and execute that in the program as well, which is just showing a huge level of flexibility there.
Okay, so you obviously got some big idea.
Another thing I think is just the scope of Spice Frontier, and being able to do that in Unreal. It takes a long time in general, but being able to do it in Unreal, we're looking to save a significant amount of time and money, and hopefully not just focus on other stories, but the animator in me wants to sort of channel that and hopefully push the quality that we can achieve as well.
I see what's going on. It's not just a big idea, it's a crazy idea.